is the maintenance record. Because anybody who's heated their home with oil knows that all oil-heated systems get a tune-up once a year. It's before heating season. That's how it works. You bring in a serviceman to tune up your system before you turn it back on for heating season. And that means that when the tune-up happens, it's preemptive. So if anything is loose or about to go wrong, they catch it before it happens. If the filter needs to be changed, it gets changed. If there's a problem, if things have come loose and they need to tighten things, it gets tightened. It gets a thorough cleaning, and then they write it in the record. And you know what you have with that record? You have the Carfax of your heating system. You would never let your college-age kid buy a used car off Craigslist without getting a Carfax. Well, that maintenance record on the system is your Carfax for that system. And then you're going to find that that specialist is going to say, this thing has life in it. This thing has years to come. But here's what I recommend. Here's what you should do. Because the truth of the matter is, without sugarcoating anything, that system is not economical. That system in the basement is not energy efficient. That system in the basement was built way before we talked about energy efficiency. And it's probably using much more oil to heat the home than it should. And what would be smart is to buy low, make your offer based on that old clunker in the basement, start putting away some money. You know that this heating system is going to work over the next several heating seasons. You got a good 5 years easily out of this. Start putting away for $6,000. $6,000, which will buy you a middle-of-the-line Wheel McLean, built like a tank. They're solid as can be. Middle-of-the-line Wheel McLean for $6,000. You can increase the energy efficiency of that system in the basement from 55% up to 93, 95, 97%, depending on which model you choose. And what that means is that you can save about $820 a year by upgrading to a new system. Yes?
I have a few questions. First question is, why is anyone going to come in and do that for free?
Because the oil dealer wants your business.
Okay. Secondly, when you say middle of the line, what's top of the line's price?
Top of the line Vidaris is unnecessary. It's probably going to be $12,000, maybe more. It's sapphire blue.
Okay.
It's beautiful. It looks like a Ferrari.
And when you say the savings that you're talking about, the $850, is that based on the average heating in a home, or is that based on the heating in their home with the system they have now?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
When you just, the last thing you said was the
Yes.
savings.
Yes.
Approximately $850 a month. Are we talking about they're saving $850 a month based on the 55%
Correct.
that it was working? Okay.
That's based on, and it's all in this brochure that you're going to have, and it's all broken down in here. The greater the efficiency, the more you save. If you put a programmable thermostat on the wall and regulate your energy use, that can reduce your heating cost by 10%. These are all recommended ways to reduce your heating costs. So if you have a real old clunker operating at 55% efficiency and you replace it with a new, modern, technologically advanced system, you can increase your energy efficiency and therefore lower your heating bills by that much. And $820 is more than a full tank of oil. So you can reduce those heating costs dramatically. And then you also tell them what they're left with is a more saleable property.
Sorry, Susan, I have an appointment. Can I get one of those?
You can get one, absolutely. Give you this, give you this. On my business card, on the back of the card, is a website, and if you go there, follow the instructions, and if you register, we'll put you in a drawing for a $1,000 American Express gift card.
Great.
Here is my card for inviting me in.
Good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So you're saying that an oil furnace from Weil McLean can reach an efficiency of 95% or better?
Somewhere
An
around
oil
there. Oil,
fire.
absolutely,
All right.
yeah.
So your cost comparison with nat gas would be, the only differential would be your routine service for oil.
Correct.
Which would include in normal circumstances, chimney cleaning. However, if you're saying that the Weil McLean is working greater than 95%, are you talking about a plastic exhaust?
Yes,
All right, so you're on par now with gas for efficiency. So the only differential would be the cost of the fuel versus the cleaning process. And then the fact that the BTUs per gallon versus the therms are higher on the oil side
right,
if your efficiency is high enough.
that's right. You got it.
So it'd be 145, 148 BTUs versus 129 for gas. So your only differential is going to be your cleaning.
What you're
Correct.
that's correct. And what you're finding, and also it's all market driven. Now, right now, we're exporting gas, natural gas. That's
Yeah.
it. That's a new trend. So that's going to affect prices as well. But they all track one another with their prices, and they're all competing with one another. And that's why PAYGO was evolved, to compete with natural gas.
Well, that was the problem of it. I'm paying for stuff in the ground.
Correct,
That used to be a
correct.
big
So,
thing.
you know, and so what you have in front of you is it takes the pressure off the heating system and the fuel and lets the family feel more comfortable buying the house that's right for them when it's apples to apples.
Right, well, most places today require the oil tank, I mean, as far as the oil storage tank has to be above ground. That's, that's one of the big requirements.
And all tanks should come out of the ground anyway. They were never intended to be
Well, you have the
that
problem
long.
of collapse. That's the problem. If they're vacated and they test clean and they're not opened up and filled, you always have a problem
Well, now,
potentially.
I think by law they have to be pulled. I think that you cannot
It
just.
depends on, I know in Burlington County you can still fill them with
Can you?
sand
Okay,
after a
'cause I know
test.
down here, they require to be pulled out.
Yeah, after a test.
And then they have to do, they do testing and, before they get the release for it. But it has to be
Yeah,
pulled
the
out.
testing is standard. They
Yeah.
always have to test.
Do you go back far enough in your career that the homeowners used to cover it?
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
As a
Wasn't that
realtor.
wonderful?
That was the way we did
That
it.
was a God blessing.
Yeah, I remember that.
It could, I was involved with a deal one time where Prudential paid $56,000.
Wow,
The house had to be jacked up.
Yeah, I've seen it in Margate.
wow.
They did landscaping.
I go back
You
to,
didn't
I
use
go back to
sidewalk.
Agreement to Honor. Remember that? I
Yeah,
loved that.
yeah,
Wasn't that beautiful real estate?
yeah.
I loved that.
So,
Those are the days.
what we're addressing it to a potential buyer on the property. To try to eliminate their fear, one of the things we have to look for is the above-ground tank for one. The heating system to be some kind of certified, if we possibly can get the seller to do that. Because a lot of the homes that we have right now are abandoned.
Let me
So-
interject
Yeah.
your thought. If you represent a listing with an old heating system in the basement, make a copy of the maintenance record and put it on the dining room table and make a little note, the Carfax of the heating system. People will get that, and that will speak for itself.
But if we have an underground tank, that's when we have to be cautious.
We always recommend that you consider taking that tank out of the ground. They were never meant to last forever. I mean, we don't have refrigerators dating back to the 40s.
Well, the old timers before they rolled the tank in, I mean, they were coated. But the old timers used to put a coating of tar
Right.
on them, let it dry, and then they would roll them in the ground.
Yeah.
Because they wanted them to last.
Sorry.
That's
didn't mean to interrupt.
okay.
Thank you, I have an appointment.
Ah, well, that's
Well,
important.
Thank you for the class, it was very informative.
You're welcome. Please go ahead on the back of my card, it's very easy, and register, and we'll put you in a drawing for $1,000 American Express gift
She'll probably
card.
win it.
Well,
Somebody's
Yeah.
got to win it.
She'll win it.
thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So any questions that I can help you with?
No?
No, Weil McLean must have really solved some technical problems because it's very, I don't know if you remember UConn. I mean, they really tried. UConn really, really tried and they ended up going out of business for the
No.
high efficiency fuel oil. It's not easy to do it.
Did you know that BioHeat is mandated in New Jersey now? That every gallon of oil that's pumped contains a portion of
Yeah.
biofuel? And that's made from sunflowers, it's made from algae, from soybeans, and from reconstituted cooking oil. It's all blended it's all blended with today's
New
heating oil.
York City, yeah, and in the city, they have the buses that are bio now.
And in the city, they don't even call it, in Long Island, they don't even call it oil heat anymore, they call it BioHeat. They just, that's the new name of oil heat. And it's environmentally friendly.
Well, plus, I mean, when you're talking about your millennials and you had your scenario, the octopi, I mean, we know they were called octopi because they generally went 8 places and they were huge. But the new, I guess, the Weil McLean is what stands about this high and about this wide.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're not
tiny.
large.
I mean, you get a lot of space in your basement now.
Yeah, it's come a long way. It really has. And the tanks in the basement, if they want to put their tank in the basement, it's not that big torpedo that you tell the kids to stay away from anymore. It's just a really nice looking, like a central air conditioning unit.
What did they do as far as water, domestic hot water? Did they have a water back on them?
Okay, what they offer now is endless hot water.
The instant?
Yeah, the instant hot water,
Okay,
and
so they have
it works
instant.
right off the system, and you never run out of hot water.
No, that's
Yeah.
what they were doing that in Europe. Yes.
Yeah.
So they've got that. So what is it, about $9,000 for 95% efficiency and a water back? Can you get one for around $9,000?
I can't give you an exact quote because,
No, I'm just
I'm not a
rough.
dealer, but it sounds about right to me. I know that
Yeah.
a regular Weil McLean is about, middle of the line, about 6,000. So
Right.
when you go higher up and you
When
add
you
on
say
the
midline,
extras.
what's your efficiency number on
I
something?
can't give you that, yeah.
Okay, not like
So-
92, 90.
Oh, the efficiency, I thought you meant the BTUs.
No, no.
Okay. The efficiency level, somewhere around 93 to 95
Okay.
on a middle of the line.
Yeah, because your factor is different because of the BTUs
Yeah.
of heating.
Yeah.
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 So you could actually demonstrate. How much does a general service call cost?
A service call,
$100.
what they usually do is have an annual contract,
Yeah.
and it's usually somewhere in the 250 to 300 range.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's different.
The thing about oil heat is you can call around and you can hire who you want.
Right.
Other people, if people have specials, they offer special deals.
Right.
And
right.
if you don't
August specials, yeah.
The August Madness,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And if you don't like the oil dealer you're working with, like if you felt that the girl at the desk was being snippy with you, first of all, you can talk to the owner. And so with the big conglomerates, you can't talk to anybody.
Right.
You talk to the owner and say, I really don't like the way I was treated, or I have a problem with the bill and I don't understand it.
Right.
And you can sit down with, the owner or their son or their grandson. It's usually family-owned businesses. And if you really feel that you are not happy with the service you're receiving, you can fire them. And you can hire someone else. And that puts the control in your own hands.
Yeah,
So,
True.
there are some positives to that.
yeah, we've come a long way.
All right, good.
We get into, I don't know about Tony, but I know I get into rural areas and your only choice really is propane.
Propane or oil heat, that's it.
And propane it can wake you up,
Yeah,
price-wise.
yeah. Yeah, it's not apples to apples.
No, it depends
yeah.
on how the general petroleum is. And
Yeah.
It's under 60 now a barrel, so it's a little bit better.
Okay.
Let me give you some materials, and I'm gonna